Alright, Shimanko everyone. So it is around 8:30. Um, Second day of Christmas here in Krakow, and I'm heading to a cafe because I'm gonna do some freelance work, and I'm almost there. Today I'm gonna be talking about um, emotional dependence and how we basically depend on other people for needs in our life. And because a lot of us, when we get into our 20s, we start to have this uh, like crisis where we go through a lot of emotions. We might go into depression, we might have anxiety, and we just completely confused about what to do about life. And a part of this I figured out is because we depend on others, and once we have to let go of that, it really creates a lot of it shakes our world. So basically, most of us never really grow up because um, we put our financial, our emotional needs, and other needs that you may have on your parents. Because when you're a kid, you're obviously letting your parents take care of you, so they feed you food, they buy you stuff, they're always there to support you. And then when you get into your teens, it's the same situation, right? But then when you're in your teens, you kind of experiment a little bit, you go out of the boundary zone and you see how your parents react, and you're starting to play within the world. You're just starting to integrate into the world and become more aware of it. And then when you're in adulthood, it's a bit more intense because then you really want to separate from your parents. And many of us never actually do because our parents keep a tight hold on us. They baby us until we're like 30. They let us live in their house, they give us money, they give us food, and they take care of us. And I have friends like this. I was like this also. My mom, she babied me until like my 20s when I finally said enough. And right now it still happened a few months ago actually, because she was sending me money when I moved to Europe, but I told her a few days ago to stop sending me money because I need to really integrate into society, and if I don't have money, then I have to get a job. And it's not like she was covering all of my financial needs, but she was just sending me a little bit of money, to like tease me. And obviously, to her, it's like I'm just helping out my son. But subconsciously, it's still like the attachment, like he's mine, and I have to give him this so that I can have him in my life. And I'm not saying that it's bad to get money from your parents or it's bad to get like emotional support from your parents, but need not to depend on it, because then you don't develop it uh, yourself, and you develop it usually in your adulthood. When in your 20s, that's when you separate from your parents and you really start to do things on your own. You start to get jobs, you start to travel, you maybe live by yourself. So if you're not doing that, you're still attached to your parents, and you're never going to develop as an adult, because being an adult means to be responsible for yourself and to take care of your own needs. And the thing is, if you don't let it go in your 20s, and if you let your parents keep on babying you, keep on giving you stuff, then it gets really fucked up when you get into your 30s, because then maybe something happens to them, or maybe they let go, or maybe you travel to a different country, and then you completely don't know what to do. And that's why you might have a really emotional breakdown, because you have no one to depend on but yourself, but you never really learned how to depend on yourself. And I had this, for me it was really intense, because I started to move out I moved out, I think, when I was 18 or 17, and during that time I was really excited, but around my 20s I had a fucking breakdown because I didn't know what to do. I hadn't, like, my dad was an alcoholic, so he was never around. The only person that I could depend on was my mom, and I was depending on her a lot, but I was trying to let that dependence go. And so I had a real breakdown because I was trying to become my own parent. and it might be the same for you. It will be really intense. You might get depressed, you might get really emotional, but you have to take the step to become your own parent. And how you do this is you just take little steps. You start to tell your parents, no, I can do this myself. No, I'm gonna work so I can make money and buy this myself. You don't let them do stuff for you. Obviously, still keep in contact with them, maybe ask them for advice, and for them to be a part of your life, but not to control your life. And so slowly do things that push you towards like that independence of dependency, and then things are gonna go good for you because you're gonna start to learn how to integrate into society. Otherwise, if you're depending on your parents, what will happen is reality will have a cover over it, like a mask, and you won't really see reality for what it is. That's why a lot of these rich kids, their parents give them money, and when they're older, they're just fucking confused, or they're just brats, and they don't really know how to live in society because they've gotten things all their life. But society nowadays is about independence and about doing things on your own. It's not about depending on others. And obviously it varies from culture to culture, but you do need to depend on yourself when you're an adult, because that's a really important skill, and especially if you want to be a healthy adult, and if you want to do the things that you want to do in life, and if you want to basically fulfill your desires and do like things that really excite you and build your own business and start your own life, then you have to have dependence on yourself. If you want to read the article to find out more, check out the description below or above if you're on Facebook.